looks like Carlo's list there. So we've got the Knights of Castle Rock, the Pyros, the Lannister Crossbowmen with Preston, that card generation engine, and Tyrion in Lannister Halberdiers. We see 3 NCUs. We see the Triumvirate, Walder, Varys, and then Pycelle. Pycelle is a super good 3-point NCU. Is this top table? No, this is not actually the top table. But the winner of this game will. There's a good chance anyway that the winner of this game will become second place. For Ghsusur to come second in the tournament, he needs to get 8 points of unit kills onto Carlo, which is, well, let's face it, like probably 2 units, or the Knights of Castle Rock. And he also needs to win the game with at least a standard victory. So a standard or crushing win would do it. And if Carlo wins, any win for Carlo will result in him becoming second in the tournament. So not the top table, alas, but very important. You're looking at the, one of these players has a very, very good chance of becoming the second. Both these players have a very good chance of being the second best player in the tournament. So not quite the top table, not quite the same hype, but at least a bit more fun. Stark versus Lannister as well. The top table ended up being a Lannister matchup. So the top table has already been decided. It was a Lannister win, and I believe Arius has won the tournament. So yes, right. We see Carlo. So Carlo's gone for red. Let's just quickly put that up so we can see it. And Ghsusur's gone for like a pastely pink, which is an interesting choice. There we go. Let's move it along a bit. There we go. And then we've got Carlo, the big man Carlo, in red for his Lannisters. So let's get it in chat before the game kicks off. Who are people supporting? Who do people think's going to win? This is Assault on Riverrun. I've just recognised that says Boards and Swords. Thank you for telling me. I'll update that now. Cheers, Sunday. I hadn't realised. Usually I spend a bit more time setting things up and being a bit more careful, but alas. Alright, so we haven't seen any terrain placement or anything come down just yet. It looks like they're still looking at lists and trying to work out what's going on. That'll be why I got confused as well Sunday, because I was thinking Boards and Swords. Still my favourite name, by the way, ever that anyone's ever used in a tournament or for anything ever. The Bolton Skincare was a brilliant name. Sorry, I just thought I'd say it. I noticed it when the first entered the tournament. I was like, yes, what a lad. Yeah. Yes, I mean, I won't go into the real details, but as you know, I pretty much do all of Carlo's videos for him. And I'm currently editing a. I've literally got my video editing software open. I was doing this afternoon, editing a another video which is going to be coming out tomorrow. We hope on commanders. So we're going to see Carlo talk about some Lannister commanders as well. So there's a sneak peek for anybody that's here. You're going to see. I think it's a video all about quite a popular commander at the moment for the Lannisters, but it's not the Sparrowman. He's a popular commander for debate, really, as to what he gives. So we'll see how that goes. I'm actually going to Awesome. I can jump into their channel there and just sit muted and deafened, and it doesn't make any difference whatsoever. Cool. So we're still in the preamble, if one will. Just waiting around, waiting for things to happen. Hopefully, should be a good game. I'm hoping. We're still yet to see the. Ooh, what's going on? Grab more corpse files. The more corpse files are the points out. Yeah. So, first question then to the guys on stream. What terrain do you think we're going to go for? What terrain? What terrain are we going to see? I think I know what terrain I'm going to see. It's going to be some of them corpse piles, obviously. It's Feast for Crows. I think I wouldn't be surprised if we see some palisades come out, or some stakes. I know that Stark players love playing stakes. Weirwoods as well. Yeah, weirwoods are common ones. It's a weird one because I think against Knights of Castle Rock, because of the decent armor save they've got, yeah, sure, it's not 2+, but I actually think that putting Weirwoods down kind of helps them pass those morale checks. Lannister Supremacy is more likely to come off. You're much better just sticking a bunch of marshes down and other things like that, and forcing him to have bad charges. That was quick. That was quick, George. That wasn't 20 minutes. Go back, eat some more food. I definitely like a bog. I'm a good. I mean, you know what I'm like. I'm a free folk player. I love a good bog. I also like heading to the bog, but that's a completely different conversation for a completely different day and a different stream. Distended George, I mean, just like take an object and just be like all in one go. So I am solo casting today, so I do apologise. I'm going to be a bit more boring than my usual banter because there's no one to have banter with in the same way. Distended George, love it. I was tempted to do some commentary on the state of the factions at the moment, but with Starks and Lannisters being played, you know, Lannisters actually think we're in a decent spot, except, you know, the mountain that rides is a thing, and he needs to go and die. Actually, if anyone might not be aware, there's the new podcast from Michael Chanel was out yesterday night, this morning. Depends where you're from, obviously. He was basically did a podcast all about Lannisters, and he's announced that the mountain that rides will be in Hero Box 3 for the Lannisters. We don't know if he will exist in his current state, of course, but he is coming. Personally, I don't think he needs changing. I do not think the mountain, certainly not the solo, needs changing. I don't think he's very good, actually. I don't think he's bad, but I don't think the solo is that incredible. But I do think he's a bit of a crutch. I do think it boosts Lannister's ability up quite a lot by having that 4-point activation. Yeah, 4 movement makes more sense. It also fits in with the theme of the heavy cavalry. The attachment. Oh, hi, Hilo. Yeah, he's not as good as people have reckoned, and he just dies to panic. The real problem I think that the mountain has is his attachment version. It's very expensive, but it turns a unit of Knights of Castle Rock into a straight up one-shot machine. It will pretty much blast anything in one shot. Yeah, no, the solo is really good. Like, he's really good, but I don't think it's outside. I don't think he's like power level too high. I think he's power level like relatively good. And the problem is right now, and this is the one of the big issues I see. Are we going to see the mountain that rides basically picked up in every possible place that he can be picked up on. And that would be bad, because if he becomes like an auto pick, that's always bad for the game. So we can see some more deployment here. We see a palisade coming out from Ghsusur. He's really wanting to get it at that 6 inches exactly. So we see a wood, we see the stakes, and we see a palisade. Mounted Tyrion, the imp that rides. Well, you know what? I can't wait for the mountain, not the mountain's men, no, but the mountain, the hill tribes that Tyrion leads. I'd love to see a unit of like raiders, effectively, like, you know, a cheap unit of maybe that you have to take in a pair, of cheap, like cutthroaty style, raidery style units. Maybe they could be 4 or 5 points, and they could be a bit rubbish. Yeah, Shagger. Yeah. Because they were great. I mean, I know they only played a tiny part in the books, really, and you know they basically won in the TV shows. But Shagger was an absolutely hilarious character, and the Hill Tribes were fantastic. For the small amount that they were in the books, they were very thematic. Right, so we saw some rolling there, and I was just completely ignorant of it. Starks look like they get to choose side if they want it. They get the choice. He did appear in the show, I think for like 1 or 2 episodes. And then they charge off into the battle where Tyrion gets knocked out, and then he appears at the end of that battle. It's Whispering Woods, right? No, that's not Whispering Woods. It's the other one. But yeah. Timit, son of Timit, yes. Yes. Great memes. Alas, I don't think that'll be happening. I think you were going to see. I'd really like to see in a Lannister's Hero Box 3 Kevin Lannister. Kevin. You've obviously got Lancel as well. Lancel, who will he must make an appearance as like a High Sparrow style attachment. There are loads of other characters out there, but those are definitely ones I can think of. Because Kevin was great. Man was not. Oh, interesting. So Carlo got to choose side, and Carlo chose the left side of the board as we're looking at it. We see the Knights of Castle Rock go down in the middle, and surprise, surprise, Ghsusur puts on a wolf over on the far right side, or far top, I should say. We'll change the way we look at the board eventually, but it gives us the best overview. If anyone wants to know what dog that is Greywind. Good old Greywind. I mean, I'm looking forward to so many other things for the game to be released. You know, I'm waiting for Greyjoys myself. I'm probably gonna invest in the old Greyjoys because I like Vikings and Raiders. Because I mean, I play Free Folk, right? So Raiders who exist on land. I mean, Greyjoys are just sea raiders. So I mean, that's cool by me. So yeah, gives me something else different to paint up as well. Because I'm fed up of painting leather and wool and things like that. God, don't give me any more brown. But yeah. Sea Raiders, see? Yeah. Salt Wife Takers. Yes. Come with nets. Maybe that's the net guy. The net guy was a Salt Wife Taker. He steals people and takes them home and marries them. Or doesn't marry them, because, you know, that's not how the Greyjoys do it. Just own them. Take the black, yeah. You're off some disc golf. Good man. Good man. I was an ultimate frisbee player myself up until very recently. So disc golf is an equivalent that I can get behind. Good man. So, we're seeing another wolf come down, and this time it's Shagger. Shaggy. The black coat of Shaggy Dog. Oh, maybe not. We will see. Okay, nothing interesting happening over there. Okay. Let's get rid of that. Let's pull up. There we go. Right. So actually see. I can see the chat now properly. So we saw Shaggy eventually go down next to Greywind over here, and that's going to be the Lannister crossbowman deployed opposite the stakes. So this is, this is going to be superb for the Lannister crossbowman. They can just sit here near the corpse pile and just dominate. Sit on the point, score points every turn. He could even do it with Tyrion, to be honest. And then the crossbowmen just sit there and pepper anything that comes even close to the halberdiers. And then you've got the Knights of Castle Rock to kind of clean up the rest of the field, which is the Tyrion way, isn't it? So we see the Bran Berserkers. You know what? I'm going to call it, guys. I mean, don't get me wrong, people are fed up of Starks, but I am absolutely fed up of Bran Berserkers being in the game. And by being in the game, if you play against the Stark, it's nearly always Bran Berserkers. They're just... Oh, I'm just fed up with them. I've played against them so much. And they're not fun. They're not a fun unit to play against as an opponent because they're actually hugely one-dimensional. They can YOLO in and then they're somewhat defensive with Bran's ability. I don't find them hard to beat or anything like that. It's not like I find them oppressive or anything like that. It's just a very boring kind of gung-ho, small brain playstyle in my opinion. None of this big brain French tournament stuff that we see with Targs. Bran Berserkers. This unit here. Just the thing I hate most in the game right now. They're just oppressive, I think. Well, not oppressive, no, that's a lie. They just really dominate kind of like what Starks do. It's like seeing Rickon in Stormcrow Mercenaries. At least Rickon in Stormcrow Mercenaries is killable and nice to have to deal with. $50-point game. Here's a question for you then, George. 50-point games. Do you think they are good or bad? Because I've played a 60-point game once, and I have my own opinions of that. Moral of the story is the game was good. Obviously, the game is good. Wouldn't play it otherwise. But it was a very different style of game, very different way of playing, and to be honest, it didn't feel balanced at all. And it wasn't just down to the players, or even the lists. Yeah, it just felt like a regular game. That's fair enough. You're just playing. You're basically getting more chocolate box stuff, right? You're getting maybe the extra unit or better units. The 60-point game I played was Stark versus Lannister, I think. Yeah, a long time ago, and it was just silly because there were that many more units on the board. You just could smash things up really quickly and easily. Unsullied are not terrible. I've come to the conclusion that Unsullied are still not good, but they're not terrible. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't play 50 points of Free Folk ever. Not that I wouldn't love to. I think there's some great things I'd love to do with 50 points, but I don't know. I find it hard to play the greater points limit games. Greater point limit games, I think, do a little bit of disservice to the game, a little bit, because the game will typically go longer. depending on the game mode, of course. Some game modes I personally don't think work with with more with more points on the board. Um, and yeah, yeah, you're right. Unsullied are good with good positioning. Um, the the problem is that cavalry. Um, wow, that's deadly. Jeez. Cavalry are a thing, and while cavalry in the game, Unsullied, you know, Zo and Daxos is kind of what you need to make them survive a cavalry charge. And now you're investing like a huge amount of points into your Unsullied. And if they don't survive on at least a decent number of ranks, sure they can heal up, but the chances are they'll just die. I mean, 4+ armor save is not good, and then the morale, yeah, sure, it's okay, but people fail those morale checks. You know, you can't go into the game expecting to pass those kind of morale checks all the time because you statistically won't. So yeah, it's a difficult one. And that sounds like a really bloody game. If you played Feast for Crows and you was over turn 4, and there was only one unit left. Yeah, so you pass 3 morale checks, which is statistically, you know, statistically you should be passing 2 to 3 of those anyway. I do agree it is really valuable. I think the issue being is that if they fail it ever, they melt. You know, they really do melt. You rely on them not failing it. Completely rely on them not failing it. And it even synergizes with all of the various things. You know, if they pass, they do this. If they pass, they get that. If they don't pass that morale check, they're literally gone, and you have no way of ensuring that they do pass it. You either just take the hit when they fail, or you know have to take that 4+, which you know 1 in 12 times is going to fail, or 3 in 36, I should say. But you know, same thing. Yep. It looks like we're on turn 1. And first player is going to be... Let's see, I don't actually know. Yes, down to this game. Starks. Starks are going to go first. Ghsusur is going to go first. So, options that he has. Notice he hasn't actually drawn any cards yet, so interesting choice. He's chosen to go first without actually knowing what he's got in hand. He still hasn't actually drawn a tactics. Sure. Yeah, he's realised he's going to take letters and realised he didn't have any cards in hand. Oh dear. So someone's scoring a point every turn. That's a thing. I say that, but he's not actually going to score any points this game whatsoever. Carlo is just going to go 2 wounds to the dog this turn. This turn and the first thing next turn, probably with Walder. And so, yeah, that dog is not scoring 2 points a turn. Or even 1 point a turn. So we see the 2 tactics cards come out, so 5 tactics cards. And I would almost definitely, if I was him, I'd put a weakened onto the crossbowman. He's thinking about it, but definitely put a weakened onto the crossbowman. They're the only unit that realistically have a chance of doing any damage on turn 1. Carlo's NCUs, he runs the triumvirate, the double of Walder Varys, obviously a very strong combination, and then Pycelle, who I think is a superb 3-point NCU. So you see Pycelle being activated, and no Varys token, and he takes the crowns. Interesting, is he going to crown Zapper? Why is he choosing crowns? Oh, he wants it for card play, of course. Yep, wants it for cards play, and he's going to make him do a -1 check on the Outriders. Yeah, it makes sense. You can soften them up a little bit. Ah, lol. That's a fail. That's 2 dead. And we see the weakened token from Pycelle come out onto the Bran Berserkers. Okay, so while we're waiting for Carlo's decision, Ghusur's next decision, battle strategies. Well, we're going to see this wolf die to Walder. Summer is probably not going to survive. He's probably going to die to Walder over the next couple of turns. So we see these 4 combat units and 2 wolves versus these 4 on the right-hand flank. The cavalry outriders. So we see Sansa come out onto bags. He's going to heal those 2 wounds up. This is a massive mistake from Ghusur, in my opinion, because he can now take Walder onto the horses. He's going to Walder Summer. And then, yeah. Did you move the crossbowman forward? Yeah. Right, so in terms of what's going to happen, the crossbowmen are going to sit with a zone of control onto this objective here, and they are going to shoot anything and everything that they can. And the Palisade being killed by Grey Wind there makes sense. Okay, so yeah, these crossbowmen are going to dominate this side of the battlefield. They'll destroy wolves if they ever shoot them, and they'll do a very good job against killing berserkers from a distance as well. Less of a good job against the Tully Swan's shields, but it's still decent. Yeah, he's just shifting them forward so they're in range of the objective and the palisades and the stakes. He's got 2-inch shift forward, remember, that he can use to for his advantage. I also think what we're going to see is the Knights of Castle Rock engaging the Outriders. I think Carlo would do better by pulling the Knights of Castle Rock wider to force this combat with the Outriders on this flank. And he will win that if he gets the charge off. But he needs to get the charge off, and Starks are going to have a better chance of getting this charge off. What Carlo's saying here is that he has no reason to exert the pressure that he wants to put onto this objective over here. I think it's an interesting decision. I don't necessarily think it's correct. Important thing to note here, of course, is if with the right maneuver, Tyrion can put himself on the objective whereby he kind of locks this combat in play and you'd have to run over the stakes to anything else. So the NCU board is full, and we saw Carlo's activate his Varys there. So Ghusur's measuring distances is 10 inches to the palisade. Okay, I don't quite know what Ghusur's measuring. The move forward and shot, I think. So. Okay, so if I was the Lannister player here from Carlo, I think that I don't need to kill units fast. Yeah, I actually do, over time, win this game. Whoops, Carlo's dropped out of TTS. I'll just quickly move this out of the way. There we go. Yeah, his internet's not very good. That's why he doesn't stream himself. That's why if he ever wants to do streaming and things like that, we always do it from my end. So, what else have we got going on then? So the Pyros. So this is the difficult one for Carlo. The Pyros are just not a good pick. We've talked about this for some time. The Pyros, in theory, are really good against some factions like Baratheons and things, but they just don't help him most of the time against anything else. Evening, terror. It is evening, isn't it? It's after 7 o'clock. God, it's late, isn't it? Afternoon terror. I know you're all here for A Song of Ice and Fire, but as you know, do some stuff for the NRG guys that is not related. And if anyone can see that bad boy, that is a Dragonborn, which I've been putting together with some Draugrs. So expect some Skyrim action coming your way. Skyrim Call to Arms, because I got the full resin starter stuff. It's going to be good fun. Anyway, back to song. We saw the Berserkers amble forward. That's the Rickon Berserkers just ambling forward with Osha. So I'm thinking for Carlo here, he can exert pressure with the crossbowmen by moving them forward. It's unlikely. I mean, he wants to protect himself against the wolves, so he'll probably do that activation last. But if he's got Tyrion's card in play for, I forget what it's called now. Is it any good, George? I haven't actually read the rules yet, but it looks okay from what I've read, the little bits I've read. What I think is worth remembering is that he can activate the crossbowmen, move them forward, and then activate the Knights of Castle Rock and use Tyrion's cards to then get a shot off with the crossbowmen. But doing that is kind of difficult against the Berserkers because you don't want them to be more weak when they run in because they actually do more damage. Another reason I hate Berserkers. The only unit in the game, pretty much, because no one includes Stag Knights in this list. Oh, actually, yeah, let's have a think about that. Stag Knights compared with Berserkers. Anybody? Anybody? Is that a fair comparison? I know we shouldn't be doing cross comparisons of different things, but a 7/7 unit who get 2 bonuses when they're down to the last rank versus something that can roll 10 dice and always has Sundering. And Stag Knights are considered okay. No, they're not. They're considered rubbish. And I think that's the problem, is that, that's why the Berserkers are so good at the moment where they are, because what they offer for 7 points is just better than what most other people offer for 8 points. Yeah, I want Stag Knights to be good. I believe that Stag Knights are good as well. I'm crazy. I believe that there are ways you can make them good. You can make Stags like 7 points. If Stag Knights was 7 points and there'd be 7/7/7s, Dr. 7 from Hearthstone, anybody, that wouldn't be terrible. If they were Night Song, I think they'd actually be too good for 8. I think for 7 I could justify taking them a little bit more. The problem is that they compete directly with R'hllor Faithful and Rose Knights in that slot. And the problem is right now is that Rose Knights and R'hllor Faithful compete directly with them already, and they're a point less. R'hllor Faithful are rubbish, though. I mean, I'm going to call it. R'hllor Faithful are not that good. So Ghsusur's kind of just like measuring all the distances, putting every arc in that we can see, moving everything up. Ew, it's Euron. Welcome to the party. I should probably start. Do I call people by their real names if I know them? No, I'll keep it to the internet names. Oh, follow. Thanks, Euron. It's about time you decided to follow us. We chat enough. We talk enough on the Discord. You come to some of the streams. Not all of them, admittedly. Yeah. So I'm not going to say congratulations or thank you, Euron. I'm going to say about time. About time. Yeah. Get on it. Get faster. Yeah, I actually think Rose Knights are a solid 7-point unit. I personally think people don't play well. You know what I'm like, guys. I think people are bad at the game, including me. I'm pretty bad at the game. Rose Knights are, yeah, they're not overpowered. They're strong, but people deal with them badly. Oh yeah, if anyone's wondering, while I'm only focusing on this part of the board, like this, this half, I mean, this Outrider unit is pretty much the only unit that's on this half of the board. Yeah, I'm not excluding Summer because Summer's been walded this turn. He's on 1 wound, and it's going to be Carlo's turn next left. Summer's already dead. His model might still be on the table, but Summer's actually already dead, guys. You might so that we just do that. That's the 2 armies, not that, but that. Anyway, yeah, I think Rose Knights are good. I think they're a good 7-point unit. I'm not gonna lie. I would almost rate them as 7.5, but yeah, people just don't know how to play the game. Like, and I do mean this in the nicest possible way. Don't charge Rose Knights head on. Like, I don't know what you're expecting. Like, the only units you could do that with are dedicated unit killers. Like, Berserkers probably couldn't even do it, even with all the card play. Berserkers would be unlikely to want to do that. Your Tully Cavaliers and your Knights of Castle Rock could, with enough oomph, if you've got enough card play behind that as well. But they're like dedicated unit wipers, and they're the only units I would even consider charging Rose Knights into the front of. Or Raiders. Raiders can also be charged into the front of Rose Knights, as can Trappers. But that's because charging Rose Knights with anything in the Free Folk army is going to be bad. So charging it just in the front with some Raiders is the best way to wrap them up. Yeah, Berserkers can do it. It's unlikely Berserkers can do it, but they can. I disagree, Hilo, actually. I disagree. I do agree that for 7 points it needs to be played around. But my argument would be at 7 points they're expensive enough so they're not super spammable. And strong enough that they deserve attention. Well, you say you don't have to against Unsullied at 9. You don't because of one specific reason. Unsullied die to Alpha Strike, and Alpha Strike is popular. You don't play around Unsullied because you out-activate them most of the time, and you can position yourself into a place where you can charge them like back end of a turn, start of the next turn. That's why Unsullied aren't good. But if you have activation parity, Unsullied suddenly become really good, especially if you don't have any dedicated Alpha Strike units, because they can be making like 9, 10, 11-inch charges pretty solidly, pretty easily, and they just come and kick you. Kick you in the balls, they really do. I don't know. Personally, I think Follows the Bone are rubbish. I know people you love them, and I know you love them, Euron. Bone Lord's Chosen, I just don't rate. Sorry. You're looking at an 8-point unit. Let's face it, you're never going to take them at 8 points because the Rattleshirt Commander just doesn't have enough synergy with them. Irony. So the best thing you're probably going to be doing is taking a 10-point unit in Free Folk in the Bone Lord's Chosen with the attachment Rattleshirt. An attachment Rattleshirt's great. Attachment Rattleshirt's properly good. But at the moment, and this is what people forget, morale is a really good thing. Morale is a really, really good thing to be getting kills through and damage through. But most things have very good morale that you're going to be playing against. Like, look at this Stark army. This Stark army, the worst morale on this side is the Stark Outriders and the Tully Sworn Shields at 6. You're pushing that to an 8 with Vicious. 8 is still not exactly failable. It is more failable. It's over 50% failable, but it's not a guaranteed damage at all. You add into Weirwoods, you add into card play into any of that, Dials Further, things like this. Your odds go down again. And then Horrific Visage, just a meme. It's a way of making them do a panic check, but it's just a meme. You're not going to do that much. You're unlikely to do that much damage. And high morale armies are very common. High morale armies are what people play right now. That is the meta. People don't take Sentinels. Look at Sentinels for Brathians. People do not take Sentinels purely because of their morale stat. if you look at nearly every Baratheon player. So, yeah. Don't rate Bone Lord's Chosen. Don't rate Followers of Bone. No, yeah, exactly. You don't want people playing nothing. You want people playing everything, and I think it's great people are playing more things. But I think there are perfectly good things out there that don't see play. I was so annoyed for so long that Solo Jorah didn't see play. I think Solo Jorah is actually really good for the meta, but he's got rubbish stats. I'm never going to sit here and defend his stats because they are trash. But I personally think the best thing you can do, 2 wound Solo Jorah. I personally think the best thing you can do as a Targ player, your first pick in that list should be 3-point Solo Jorah. Anyway. What the hell do you do with him? Run him round, have an activation, and more importantly, dropping out those tokens is actually really good. Like, I also believe, and I am a bit of a crazy player in this aspect. I will charge Jorah in to a unit that's already activated that I know cannot hit back in that way, just to hold them up to allow Dothraki Outriders to get more shots at the unit. And if you've got hit and run as well, you can charge Jorah in, potentially do 2 wounds, trigger a panic test, and then run away. Now, I'm not even kidding you. I played a game the other week where I had Jorah and 2 units of Dothraki Outriders left, and it was just Jorah running in, getting a couple of hits, and then running away while the Outriders peppered them. It worked incredibly well, and yet I will sit here and say that Jorah's stats are awful. Your weekly opponent plays 3 trappers. That's a good shout. Your weekly opponent knows how to play the game. Kudos to your weekly opponent, Terra. He is a good free folk player. Anyway, should we get back to this game? Because we haven't actually spoken about this game whatsoever for the last 10 minutes, because nothing's happened. So we see turn 2, and Walder's been activated, and we saw the 3+ come out from Varys. So Walder was not able to go down. So Varys cancelled Walder. And we saw him take the letters and take lots of cards. So Carlo is currently sitting on 7 cards? Yep, 7 cards in hand. Trappers are bullshit, and you blame me personally. No, they're the best thing since sliced bread. Yeah, he did save the dog. Hilo, he has saved Summer from with Varys, which we did think might happen, but it's a luck-based thing, so should have stopped it turn 1 really. Trappers are not, bad. Trappers are the best thing since sliced bread, and you blame me personally. That is absolutely fine, Terra. Yeah, I'm happy to take that personal blame of Trappers being good. Pikeman Harakar. So obviously, I don't want to speculate about the dragon. We know nothing about the dragon at all. But pikemen, when they said they're expensive and they look really good, sure, but I just ignore them. I'm sorry, but if they're on an objective, yeah, I can't ignore them. They're going to be more difficult to play against. There's other issues involved. But the simple fact of the matter is, I massively overactivate you if you're taking these things because they're so expensive. And if I outactivate you, then I can just ignore them. And I don't care what people say. Oh, you can't just ignore them. You can. People already do it. Halberdiers go down on the field and they're a cheaper unit, and they already get ignored. And Harakars are interesting because Harakars have to be coming in at a cheap unit point cost to be even relevant. They have to be 5 points minimum. Or maximum, I should say. If they're 6 points, they're pointless. If they're 5, they are playable. If they are 4, they are too cheap. If they're at 4 points, they're simply too cheap because you would just take your first thing you'd do on every list. You would take them as many as you could for your activations. Simple as that. And the argument is, no, you wouldn't. Well, people already do that with 3-point Rob because he's worth the activation. The 4 points for Harakar is bad, and what I'm worried about, and myself and Carlo have spoken about this on podcasts and things in the past. If Harakar has come out at 4, then there's a real issue that they come out with the limited keyword, and the limited keyword is a way for designers to get around the fact that they can't balance a game. And immediately you'll see 2 4-point night. They're limited to 2 every list, but the first 8 points every Targ player should be spending realistically in the meta at the moment will be on 2 Harakars. Simple as that. If they're not doing that decision, then they're probably a bad player. And that sounds horrible, but it is. It is probably the truth, and I think that's bad. I think that's bad for the game. Yeah, 4 points is silly. Yeah, they're literally no different to the dogs at the moment. Exactly. It doesn't solve the problem of Stark overactivation. It just adds another faction into the pile of, it's the same with the solo Lord of Dragonstones. I think they're going to be really interesting, but we already know that they're limited. Okay. So Varys cancels on Arya. So Arya just takes swords, does nothing. Yeah, you have to deploy them head on. I think, speaking of someone who plays Jarl, outflank is bad. Outflank is really bad because you come on deployed at the start of an activation. Like, I've got an entire round to work out how to deal with you. If I Jarl deploy a unit of Spearwives in your flank, you have 1 activation to try and deal with that. And people already do that. Exactly, my outflank is already better, but my outflank is good, and it is played, and it is just about playable. Normal outflank is not playable, in my opinion, is barely playable. It's just a way of getting around hard to crack front lines like Rose Knights and things, but again, you're relying on a unit running into close combat to try and kill Rose Knights is not the solution anyway. Right, so we see Crown Zap coming out onto Rob's unit. -2, so they go up to 8 because of the corpse pile. This is actually statistically to fail. But not with the... Oh! He rolled a 6, but he got the 1. 4 dead. 4 Tully Sworn Shields. Is that first blood? Kind of, because none of the models got removed here, and he's bleeding, but he's not dead. So yeah, there we go. 4 Tully Sworn Shields. Dying. Because they looked at the half-man in a funny way. So, we saw a 3 from Varys again coming out, so no Sansa this turn. We see take horses, does nothing. So I think Carlo's semi-worried about sudden charge. And we see bags come out from Varys, and he's just going to knock off the vulnerable. Okay, so the start of turn 2 has been interesting. I think the most interesting thing to see is Carlo's Pycelle. Oh god, I love Pycelle. He's just so good. Look at those core units from Ghsusur. All with weaken tokens on. Just chilling. All of those really dangerous, damaging attacks they can bring in. Just weaken them. You'll be alright. Ghsusur's doing a huge play here where he's going to move Summer to the edge of the corpse pile. Alright. And he's going to threaten. Yeah, he's just going to threaten here. He's not going to move off the corpse pile because he just wants to keep the objective. This is just a wasted activation. But he wants to put Summer in a position where he can come into the game if he wants to. The bin badger himself. Look at him. Looks like a raccoon. Yeah, they are. They're really good. I mean, Pycelle's superb. I think Val's superb. I think Ygritte's decent. I think Craster's a bit meh. I personally don't see the value in Craster because Giants are still meh. Even new Giants are hard to work in properly. I think who else is 3 points is good? Sansa and Arya are very strong. pair of NCUs. Shire Errol. Amazing little 3-point NCU. Elder Nestamont. You know. To be fair, all the Baratheon NCUs are good. There's only one bad Baratheon NCU. And we don't talk about her. Because she's awful. Yeah, Illyrio's bad. Illyrio's ability is really good, but it just doesn't work. Davos isn't bad. Davos isn't great, but he's not bad. Olenna Tyrell is terrible. Like, she should be good. There's nothing wrong with her being there. She should be good. But she's just not. Because if there's any NCUs that your opponent doesn't want you to shut down, you just activate them before Olenna on the turns where you go first. I used to think Olenna was valuable, like, but if you're getting value out of Olenna, then I don't think people know how to play against Olenna. I think that's the difference. I think there's better options. Like, again, it comes back to this really difficult thing. Varys for 4 points, doing what he does, just does it better. Yep. I'm surprised, George. Maybe take some advice and don't run her at all. Because she, by definition, you have to activate her first every turn to turn off the NCU you want to turn off. And if you don't activate her first on the turns you go second, you don't even get to turn something off on her turn. So by definition, the turns where you go first, she pretty much has to be your first activation, meaning one of the other NCUs isn't. And the turns where you go second, you have to be choosing a second NCU to turn off. And I agree. Yeah, I just, Varys. So you're paying a 5-point NCU whose ability doesn't matter on the turn you go second. That seems pretty bad. And the turns you go first, you switch off one of their NCU's abilities. Which means I can just plan around not having that. A good player doesn't care. Like, a good player can happily lose the turn off NCU ability, and if they know which NCU it's going to be, and they know when it's going to be, they can play around that massively. But then again, experiences differ. You may have had much different experiences with Lena. So we saw Varys get activated for a wasted activation. Tyrion has moved up and claimed the token, and look at this brilliant positioning. If anyone charges Tyrion in the front, they have to go 50% this way or suffer the stakes. And it's Halbs, so they get to stabby stab stab. And the crossbowmen are now going to shoot. Shoot Rob's unit, I think. Oh, he drew a card as well because he's got Preston in the grounds. This huge card draw engine that Carlo's got going this game. Did he accidentally delete his dice? So, we're probably going to see, with the D3 block, we're probably going to see about 2 or 3 armor saves having to come out here statistically. Carlo nearly always gets 4 hits. Or no, we always say 5 hits, isn't it? 5 hits. He rolled a 1. I don't know why he's rolling a 1. I have no idea why he rolled that. So shooting Rob's unit. 7 dice. 4 to 5 hits. Okay, that's 7 hits. Rip. That's 7 hits. They're going to block D3, almost certainly. 1. Ooh, 6 hits. And they're going to be saving on 4s. So 6 saves on 4s. and we see, oh god, 2. So that leaves what, 4 dead, meaning that he could fail the panic test and die here, and he's going to be hear me roar. So they become, oh, this is huge from Carlo. -1, an additional -1 for each destroyed rank, so that's -3, -4 for the corpse pile, and they get a panic token. So -4 corpse pile, they are failed. Carlo is going to make him reroll the d3 to try and get a 3, and then the unit just disappears. He didn't get it. Ha! It's just a solo Rob. Oops. There we go. Look at Rob. And all of his Tully Sworn shields that are with him. Ah, oh, don't you just love it when Starks die? Anyway, I'm not one-sided or anything. Don't get me wrong. I would really like Carlo to lose because I hate Carlo, obviously. But I hate Starks more. God, it's a bad day when I hate Carlo more or less than I hate Starks. God, someone nerf Starks, please. So. My dog has just decided to throw her ball at me. It is a very grubby ball, but alas. Anyway, Stark's the good guys. No. This just brings me back to the Mitchell and Webb look sketch where they turn around and go, are we the bad guys? Yeah, Starks are the bad guys. Jaime Lannister, best redemption arc in a book ever, on TV show, best character. Cersei, yeah, she's a noob. Tywin, he's just calculating, cold. He's not actually a bad person, I don't think. He's just crazy. Gregor, he's a nutter. Gregor's actually a nutter. Straight up bad guy. Hans, are we the baddies? Yeah, they are. They do play Nazis in that sketch, and so they are the baddies. That is fair. They are the baddies, but it is a great sketch, nonetheless. So that was the shot from there. I'm a bit confused as to what Ghsusur has done in response. I think he's measuring up some charges or something. I don't know. He hasn't really done anything yet. Yeah. Yeah. Why do we have skulls? You just can't make this stuff up, can you? Oh, he's what? Is he doing the free maneuver forward to kill the stakes with his action? This seems like a bad choice. My girlfriend's just come through and got some toast, and her eyes are really red, and she's just told me she's been crying because she's been watching Gilmore Girls, and it made her cry. There we go. Yeah, George likes his left. Gilmore Girls, yeah. I have to say I haven't watched it, but I have been in a couple of times and doing some video editing. I'd go and sit through there for a bit. I'm not gonna lie, I do like my certain TV shows. I've been getting her into Supernatural, so we're on season 4. We've just started season 4 of Supernatural now, and there's like 15 seasons of this show now. It's crazy. Burn notice. That's awesome. Oh, Bruce Campbell. Oh god. Right. So Grey Wind shuffled forward and bit some stakes up. And so we're waiting on Carlo to activate one of his 2 units that he's got remaining. This is where the Stark problem comes, is that Starks have still got 3 completely, or 4 technically, if you include Rob, but he's looking pretty lonely. He's got 3 completely fresh units that he can come in and bring into the play, so Carlo's got to be very careful with what he chooses to do. Yeah. It was good. I also love 70s and 80s rock, so Supernatural is totally my jam, because they play some of the best stuff. Asia, Starship. Oh god, such good music. Kansas, obviously. Anyway, this is showing my my bizarre love for the 70s and 80s now. Yeah, any band name after a city, or just an object, you know. Lots of measuring happening. Very little moving. He's going to activate the Pyromancers. Oh, hero! He's a hero! He's retreating with them. Oh, what a hero. So, if you're wondering why he's retreating with Pyromancers, this is a conversation we had. What you can kind of do is you can kind of YOLO. Yeah, by the way, his pyros are what he considers a bad choice. He would totally remove his pyros if he was rebuilding the list now, especially in this kind of meta. But what the pyros can do is they can absolutely YOLO in after the crossbows get charged, and they can devastate a unit while the crossbows retreat. The Riviera Kid, thanks a lot for giving us a follow. Just a quick reminder, if anyone is here, you obviously subscribe if you've got Twitch Prime. Subscribe, give us a free subscription, that would be amazing. Obviously it doesn't have to be here, could be anywhere else as well, but subscribe to the channel and get some access to some various different places and things like that, and you know, just it's nice to give money in it. All of our money goes into what do you do now? You've got your NRG shirt. You wear it, Terra. You wear it every day. Which is a very good point, Terra, that you bring up the merch down below. Please do check it out. There's loads of new stuff. We got a Lannister design now. So if anyone wants to be a bad guy truly, they can wear a Lannister shirt. If you want a Greyjoy shirt, there's a Drowned God style, What is Dead May Never Die style top design down there now as well. And we've also got a Baratheon stag with some hammers. That's actually pretty sick. I like that one. And then yeah, there'll be more designs coming as well. We've got some more designs to some of the other factions and other things as well. But yeah. So we see Shaggy Dog activate, and he comes through the line. And then he's probably going to declare a charge against the crossbowman, I'm thinking. Why wait, George? Let's do it now. Just you know, just spend the money and just don't have somewhere to live for a couple of months, you know, because the mortgage isn't paid. Yeah, just, you know, buy the shirt now. Live in the shirt. Live in the shirt. Lose your house. Lose your girlfriend. Buy 2 shirts. To be fair, with enough money that Eindras gives you and everything, I know it's for charity. Don't worry. But with enough money that you get from Eindras and other people, they've probably paid you enough to buy a shirt. Yeah, but I know that all of that money's going to a great cause. So jokes. I mean, to be honest, you probably could feed Bud on t-shirts. You might not like it, but you would definitely like it for a little bit. Madge loves chewing on things, specifically socks, not t-shirts, but socks. I have to put my socks away or put them up on high shelves, otherwise she just steals one. I am so confused as to what's going on right now. There's extra bases, there's extra things going on. It looks like he's trying to work out if Shaggy Dog can charge this unit of halberdiers in the flank, and if he can fit in the flank. Any of us going to be in India in August? I'm not, because I live in the UK, and the idea of going to Indiana without my girlfriend's permission is unlikely. Carlo might be, and I say might be, I don't think he's planning on being there, but Carlo has got a trip to America booked at the rear end of this year, I believe. I've just read your comment, George. I can sympathise. There's a massive tournament in Indiana, and CMON are semi-sponsoring it. It's the closest replacement we've got to a Gen Con over in America. So that's going to be pretty big. I'm a bit annoyed, to be honest, that that CMON are sponsoring that from a perspective of being a UK player, because we've yet to see a big. We saw the French tournament happen, and that was massive, biggest tournament that's been run for Song of Ice and Fire so far, and I believe it didn't get CMON support. And yeah, yeah, it's crazy. They're doing some stuff. I think there's rumors that they're going to be doing unit box giveaways and things like that, which is great, obviously. But there's also rumors there's going to be like Greyjoys available, and I'm just like, well, in the nicest possible sense, like, it sucks a little bit that you're running a tournament in the US during this period of time where, you know, from the UK, travel is still really sketchy whether or not you're allowed to travel. And people are going to get Greyjoy starters, and I'm absolutely fine with people getting stuff like out and about. I don't mind that really, but it's like they'd never sponsor anything in the UK. Like we at NRG and Song of Ice and Fire Stats, combined with maybe the Boards and Sword guys, could run something if we wanted to and try and get the majority of the UK guys involved. You know, try really hard. And we just don't think we could get the sponsorship from CMON. And it sucks. It's alright, Carlo's got his Greyjoy starter because he won the giveaway competition. Because the guy's a jammy little bastard. Anyway, I shouldn't swear. Yeah, it's a little bit frustrating that Gen Con and Adepticon and things like that in America are the big ones, because I know they get a lot of support, and yet the German-French scene, the UK scene, is relatively big, and never seems to get support from CMON, at least as far as I'm aware it doesn't. I know America's huge. You know, you could host a big event in America in like Adepticon, and people will be coming from the other side of America, and that's like from me travelling from here to Poland. So, but it still just is a little bit frustrating. It is a lot worse for Germans than French. The Germans obviously have a lot of board game expo stuff that they get a lot of support for. But yeah, my understanding is the Germans and French really suffer from giveaways as well. Yeah, South Asia's an odd one because actually it's all based in South Asia, where like the CMON headquarters and everything is. But yeah. I don't have a link, but it's on the Discord channel. If you give me about 3 seconds, I'll find it for you. And post it in chat. There we go. There's Michael Chanel's latest podcast. Yeah. So, this unit Berserkers is the thing that finally activated, and it moved forward a little bit and it made a charge. We saw Swift Advance come out. I didn't say that, obviously. We saw its Swift Advance come out and he's charged from there. And it sounds like they're pinging a lot. So. A guest star. He didn't necessarily think about the flank too much because of the stakes. I agree. He could have done it though to prevent it, because I mean the flank charge is not happening anyway with Tyrion. Winter is coming. Brilliant. I hate this card. I genuinely hate this card. Lad, counterplotted. Get wrecked. Winter is Coming has been counterplotted. Or Tyrion's cancelled it, has he? Tyrion's a 4+, right? Yeah, 5+. 5+ even. He's going to discard a card. Lannister pays his debts. He rolled a 3 again. Wow. So personally, I don't like it when other people set up games because other people don't increase the bounciness of dice. And that's not because people choose not to. They actually just don't know it's a thing. So yeah, turn up the bounciness really high to like 3 or 4, and then it doesn't matter what you roll, how many times you press it, it's always going to be random. Now, of course, it's not actually random. Here's a mathematician for you. It's chaotic. That means it's completely guessable given the physics engine in the game. The mathematics would allow me to identically predict what you'd roll if I was bothered. It is not random. But it's chaotic. The chaoticness that you generate here is random enough that, working out's not worth the effort. So you saw the reroll come out there from the weakened, by the looks of it, and it's going to be 5 hits. -1 on the flank and a -1. They're going to be saving on 6s, aren't they, Halbs? Yeah, 6s. 5 6s coming out of Carlo. He's got 1. He loses a rank. But the more important thing is, of course, the panic check with this unit, and he's panicked because winter is coming. So it's going to be -2 to the halberdiers. Halberdiers are 6, so that's going to be an 8. If you get 2 successes out of Varys and you call that a win, that's sad. Oh. That's 4 more dead. And he didn't even need to use the panic token. See, this is where there's one thing that can play into Carlo's hands, and it's the Knights of Castle Rock coming to the rear of these berserkers and tearing them a new one. Yeah, the old rules would have been 6 dead. Would have just killed it. Actually, would have been 7 dead. I think the minimum you can roll is a 1, right? The old panic rules. I don't remember. It doesn't matter. This old panic rules not used anymore. Sadness. So the stupid thing here, of course, now is that Rob can charge that unit, gain the objective token, and the halberdiers can't use their order. Yeah. So you could charge in, do an attack pretty much scot-free, get the token with Rob, and go 2 points ahead this turn. But he's going to use that. He's almost certainly going to lose the halberdiers this next turn, if not this turn. So Carlo will get to place the next corpse pile. Okay, let's just quickly grab. Okay, I'm just getting some Discord messages sorted. Cool. It's actually not going. Let's not use that one. Let's delete that one. Sorry, guys. There we go. Rightio. So, where are we at? What are people saying? Tea to be cooked, etc. Nice to see you again. Yeah, nice to see you later. Hello, you take it easy. Right, we kind of died there for a moment. Just had to sort some things out. Okay, so we're waiting on Carlo to make a decision what he wants to do. Now, there is, of course, the ability for him to play Tyrion's cards to reactivate a unit that's already activated. He's going to play the Knights of Castle Rock. I don't quite get this move because he can't do that. He probably won't be able to pivot them on. How weird when people do this. Just to clear the unit a little bit more. Right, so these Knights of Castle Rock are going to be charging the Berserkers, I believe. I have no idea what Carlo's trying to do with this pivot. I'm so confused. Does anyone else know what's going on here? Oh. He's going to march. He wants to march them that way? I don't know. This has got me stoked. I have no idea what's going on. He's unlocked it. I think he just wants to march to the other side. But I don't think he's got enough movement. No, he does. No, he hasn't got enough movement because it's 10 inches to cross the unit. And he's got 10 inches and he can't cross the unit with 10 inches. Because the bases are not square or nice to use. So I don't know what Carlo's looking to do here. If I was him, this is going to be a problem to deal with. He can't risk the Knights of Castle Rock because they're going to be his mainstay as the game goes on. I don't know. They need to get into the game though. I just see Tyrion dying this turn, and he'll go up 3 points, 4 points if he claims the token with Rob. So it goes 4 points up. And then it'll be another. Well, Summer might die next turn because it depends on Varys, really, isn't it? Depends if Varys does anything. The thing is, yeah, exactly. You can wipe the Berserkers. They'll be saving on the 6, obviously. And then morale will be on 4 minus 3. So you'll be on 7s. Now, of course, Direwolf's Fervor might come out and it might bump that back up. And they'll take auto wounds because of Arya being on swords and Osha's a nightmare. That literal free attachment Osha. Yeah, the knights can realistically only kill 9. So they'd have to do fail the panic test. Interesting, he's just going to go over here. Just fair enough. Threaten Summer. Probably out of range of the Stark Outriders to charge, although, you know, Devastating Impact is a card. Yeah, the thing is, you statistically are unlikely to kill Rickon's unit. And you take a lot of wounds doing it, and if you're unlikely to kill it, you die to the Berserkers charging you in the rear again. Paid Mutiny. Okay. So this is going to be, I'm guessing this is on Rob's unit. Yeah, we see the activation token come out. So he just does a panic check. Dead. Rob's unit's dead. So that's huge. That's actually huge. Paid Mutiny coming out big there for Carlo. You can place that within 12, and it can't be underneath a unit. Okay, that's no idea 12. Yeah, Paid Mutiny is a good card. Whoops, I just accidentally started Excel rather than opening up a takeaway. Sounds like Indian tonight, because I'm super lazy right now. And I do a hard job doing all this work for people, such as editing and other things. Oh, come on, that's not even flat. There we just put it there. Just put it there. That is exactly flat if it goes there. Ah, dear. It has to be at least an inch away from other units, and it's just not an inch away from that, and it's just not an inch away from Grey Wind. But we'll see. We'll see. This is why I don't like people who delete trays. Personally, I don't like people. Don't delete trays in TTS or even in the game. Just don't remove the tray straight away. Take the last model off if you want to, but just leave the tray there for a minute because there's so many little triggers that can happen, especially with Baratheons nowadays. So this is a big play anyway. So Rob is now out of the game, out of the picture, and that means Ghsusur not going to be able to score points at the rate he wants to. Importantly as well, Carlo can somewhat contest Ghsusur as well a little bit here, because Ghsusur can only get one of these tokens this turn. He can either get the one that Tyrion's in front of, or he can get the other one with Shaggy Dog. the free one. It makes more sense to get the free one because there's no risk or anything. Although Shaggy could very easily, especially with the panic token, kill Tyrion. Killing Tyrion would allow the Berserkers to pivot. I don't think the pivot would hit the objective though. Is he going to do it? Oh, he's going to be really pedantic. And then declare a charge. I'd have thought so. You can very easily kill the Halberdiers now. No. Yeah, 4s and 6s. He's fine. He's in. And he grabs control of the token. In the process, yeah, Ghsusur will be first player next round. So Tyrion's unit's dead. If it's not dead to Shaggy Dog right now, it's going to be dead to the Berserkers. See, annoyingly, strictly speaking, Shaggy Dog is exactly half of this base width, according to TTS. Now I need to measure this actually. I was going to do this after another game I played, but I got super lazy. Because I thought, when I'd measured it up before, they're not actually half a bit base width. But actually I think they might be. So, 2 seconds guys. I'm going to get out some free folk for us. Who have we got today? Oh, we've got Jaime Lannister Giant. And we've got my Thens, because they happen to be in the top box. Had them out yesterday. Showing these off. Right, so. Just doing my measurements. Yeah, these bases are not actually half. Not actually 50%. Let's get another Giant out. Let's get out Tormund Giant, because he's ginger. Yep, the Giants are not 50% of the infantry. This is very, very important. I would show you this if I had my second camera up and running, but it's not currently up and running because I didn't turn it on. I'll just grab this a second and get a view of my house very briefly. There we go. So here's my beautifully painted Giants. They are identically next to each other. As you can see, there's the cross. Oops, that way. And you can see there's that way. Get this right. There's an overlap there, ever so slightly, and there's also an overlap here, ever so slightly. Solos are not half an infantry unit. It's an interesting fact. So if a unit is in combat at 50%, and then the unit's on its side, you cannot go 50% alignment in the gap. I lost a game because of exactly that happening, and I said, well, that's not true. And he put the, he literally put the thing in there in TTS, and it worked for him. And I was kind of bummed about that, because he wouldn't have killed my unit otherwise, and I'd have held on to a huge, not lead, but positional advantage going into the next round. Alas, you win some, you lose some. Anyway, less about me chatting rubbish and showing you guys things that you don't need to be shown. Yep. Well, for the rock. For defensive dice, so he didn't do any wounds. And Shaggy Dog's choosing to retreat onto the... So he's doing hit and run with that. So with Shaggy Dog onto the corpse pile to get the other token, and it will also make Tyrion's unit weakened. I don't really know why he's done that. That seems weird to me. It doesn't achieve anything more. Well, so the thing is that this kind of forces a little bit. You know, Ghsusur can activate his Berserkers or take swords, but obviously Varys can stop swords from affecting it. It just feels like a bad move. I don't like that move. with Shaggy Dog. There's no reason to make that move. I mean, it's annoying, Euron, sorry. It's annoying Euron, sure. But it is part of the game nowadays, so it is part of the game. And more importantly, like, Carlo's got methods to deal with it. What I dislike, and I'm going to point this out again, Carlo's got methods to deal with dogs in his list, but Ghsusur runs Varys. So, doesn't matter. Just cancel Boulder. It's fine. Just cancel him. Varys is a cancer to this game that people just do not recognise because they think counter is important for the game to be balanced. Counter is not important for the game to be balanced. Counter is something you add to the game to make you feel like the game is more balanced because the game isn't balanced. Magic the Gathering is the classic one. People say, "Oh yeah, but there's loads of counter in Magic," and I would always argue that yes, of course, there's counter in Magic. There's tons of counter in Magic, but there's counter in Magic because everything can be countered at any time, and some factions are good at it and some factions aren't. That's just how Magic works. Oh, come on. The camera's actually loose now. It's fallen off its usual spot. There we go. So, he decided not to move those Berserkers there. He's decided to move the Stark Outriders instead. Should go wider and be slightly wider charge, but it wouldn't take the -1 for the wood. So he might be able to get it to a point where it's a better charge, but I'm not going to tell him any of this, of course. Yeah, I think Varys is really bad. I agree that certain things need to be counterable, the likes of sudden charge and things like that, but ultimately, if they're counterable, then they're too strong. If they need to be counterable, then they're too strong. That's the way I look at these things. The ultimate problem is that Varys exists in neutrals, and he can exist in any list whatsoever, except free folk. And I'm a free folk player. And I personally have no problems playing against Varys. Varys is not a problem for me to be playing against. I don't care. Really don't care about Varys when I play free folk. What I care about is the fact that Varys exists for every other faction. Where would I put him? I would put him, if he was in neutrals, I'd make him a neutral only. So personally, I think the neutral problem is going to be an issue forever in this game. And if Varys wasn't existed in neutrals, I'd give him a Jaqen Hagar style effect, and I'd make him exist in the neutral faction. Again, neutral only and Lannister. Well, the neutrals being sorted out is actually a really simple solution that we talked about. You could just make neutrals neutral only. So certain commanders, a bit like faction loyalty, could only be taken in a faction with certain commanders. Be really easy. Peter Baelish is a fine neutral NCU. The ability he brings is not overpowered and not super strong, and it's just useful. Tycho is, personally, I don't think a very good NCU. I don't think Tycho's good, but he brings a generic piece of use that anyone can use, and it's not much healing and it's not that strong. So it's not overpowered or broken. Varys sucks if you never land his token. It's pointless. Varys is incredible if you land all 4. Varys is a problem because he can get all 4 come out as hits. And if he gets all 4 hits on his tokens, he's just bonkers. Bearing in mind 4 hits if you're playing against a person with 2 NCUs is effectively cancelling out 1 full NCU per turn. Or an NCU and a half per turn if you're playing against a 3 NCU meta. But of course you can only do it 4 times. I just think it's funny because when Mel was released, everyone complained that Mel was too strong. And they didn't say Mel was too strong. What they said was, oh, Mel is too strong because she can't be countered by Varys. I'm sorry, you just said something is too strong because it doesn't fall into something else's realm. And you won't agree that the thing that you've just compared it to is too strong. You know, the immediate responses for something being too strong is, oh, it isn't counterable at all by this really powerful thing. Well, hang on. Doesn't that mean the thing you're complaining about is not actually as powerful as the thing that you don't complain about? So yeah, I know. You do want neutrals in every faction, you do. I actually bought... I'm a free folk player, right? I have that. I'm a free folk player and I have neutral heroes too, because if I play any other faction like Greyjoys, I need them. Plus, that Brienne sculpt is incredible. So yeah, if I play Greyjoys, I want this man. If I ever play Greyjoys, basically. I also quite like Bronn and Dario as just thematic people. I quite like them. I also really like Vargo Hoat, but I know he's terrible. But in the Builder tournament, we might see that change. We might see Vargo Hoat put some work in and actually get some wins. So I'm going to be looking out there for some good Vargo Hoat builds. Because I believe in the Hoat, the goat. The Vargo goat. Okay, so the score is 2-1 at the end of that turn. We saw the two wolves score the 2 victory points. And we're about to see first activation of this turn. It could be a swords play, but then obviously there's Varys coming out, preventing the zone, which will be absolute killer. Massive mistake from Ghsusur if he goes for a sword play, and then the Varys token comes out. So what we want, obviously people are doing it for memes, of course, and doing some funny stuff. But what we really wanted was people to make competitive lists with all of these heroes. And what we want to be able to see basically at the end of it is like, look, these heroes that people, no, these commanders that people say that are terrible, like either they are terrible and people do really badly with them in the tournament and they don't come near the top and so they are bad, or actually there are viable lists that work for them. Yeah, it's good. It's good having that kind of like versatility, hopefully coming to the game and more options, and it'll open people's eyes a little bit. That's what we hope. And so the first thing we see is the Outriders charging these pyros in the flank, because, you know, not taking either Valis. Wow, incredible. It's sad, isn't it, to make competitive lists now. You don't include Varys or Walder. You know, to know, I'm not taking Varys or Walder, therefore it's a not competitive list. It's another crazy way of looking at it. Respond. Alright, sorry guys, I just got a quick site issue that I need to fix. Right. I'll deal with that later on. So. Wow, incredibly only 6 Pyromancers died. And Walder's activating. And let me guess, we're going to see a Varus token for Walder. Varus token used on Walder. Yeah, sad, isn't it? 3 hits and then 3 more from the panic save. With that Outriders. So he's umming and ahhing whether or not De Walder is, I don't know. Or Varus is Walder, I don't know. Looks like he's fine. Right, he's going to roll the dice. Yep, so 3. So there you go. Walder again does nothing. Takes the letters, draws 2 tactics cards, puts a token on. Just point out that this card, so far, been used twice, successful twice. Currently shutting a 5-point NCU out of the game. Still an activation, admittedly, and there's other bonuses to it as well, but yep. This is realistically, aside from the Mountain That Rides, who we know is Kickstarter exclusive, allowable in this tournament, of course, but this is the solution to counter wolf stuff, because these NCUs are the only counter to wolves at the moment in the meta. So the fact that Carlo is running what he in Lannisters is going to be shutting down wolves the best way he can, pretty much, aside from like Cersei panic bombing stuff and hoping to fail like -3 checks on wolves and -4 checks on wolves. He's taking Walder to try and counter wolves, and his opponent just takes Varus instead. Boom, done. You now can't kill my wolves, and I'm going to remain at this activation advantage. What you going to do about it? Anyway, I'll stop rabbiting on, because it's me just rabbiting on about how bad Varus is for the game is not going to help anybody, is it? So, Carlo's first activation was the letters. We're going to see... So these Berserkers are going to charge the Pyromancers now, by the looks of it. Delay orders. Okay. So he's going to delay orders on the unit of Berserkers, and he's going to tell, because he owns letters, he's going to tell Ghsusur what unit to activate instead. This is an interesting choice. He's going to go for Grey Wind. So we see Grey Wind activating now. He has to make a decision with Grey Wind what he wants to do. I know what I'd do with Grey Wind, but, you know, I'm not him. Oh, he's declaring a charge against the Halberdiers. It's a clean charge. See, I personally wouldn't have done that. I'd have just run down here and sat there on the objective token. Northern Ferocity, so they get Sundering and Vicious. Because it only counts as having 1 rank. Don't you just love Northern Ferocity? Don't you just love Starks? Love Starks. No, I shouldn't joke. I shouldn't have a go at Starks. Starks aren't that bad. So, we've got the Wolf coming in here. Grey Wind's coming into the front of the Halberdiers. He's probably going to nom these Halberdiers up, to be honest. Counterblock coming out onto Northern Ferocity. So we've got 3+. No, that's a 5, yeah. So Northern Frosty is gone. So less likely to nom Tyrion now. It's actually going to be quite important. 3 and a 4, that's 2 hits. 2 hits onto Tyrion's unit. 4+ saves. Greywind doesn't really do anything, does he? Wealth of the Rock coming out, so we see +1 defensive saves. So 3s. 3+ on 2 dice required to save these halberdiers from doing a panic check, I should say. That's 2 saves, so the halberdiers again survive. Pretty good use of the delay orders there from Carlo. What do we think Carlo's going to do now? Well, Carlo probably has the crossbowman he wants to use to do some damage. He may want to activate the Knights of Castle Rock and tie up the rear of these berserkers over here, or the side. Do like a move to here and then charge them. Adaptive Tactics. He's going to return a card to his hand, and he's going to force his opponent to discard one. What did he take back? He took back the old delay orders. He can't Euron because they aren't. If this unit is unengaged and charged from the front, they are not unengaged because of the berserkers. So we see delay orders go back to hand from Carlo. So he's going to do his little trick there again this turn, probably on something else. What's Carlo going to do then? It's his turn. There's a couple of decisions he can make. I don't dislike taking money bags with Pycelle, sticking a weaken token onto these berserkers, healing up the halberdiers a little bit, removing their panic token. It's a pretty safe bet. He could take swords if he wanted to, although Varys obviously could come out. The crossbows could shoot into anything, everything. Don't know. Yep, so we see Pycelle coming out onto Pycelle activating, and an order token is used. It's a 4, so it's again a cancelled zone. So Pycelle goes onto there. So that's 3 successes for Varys, by the way. Now 3 successes for Ghususur's Varys. And he's gonna... what's happening? Did the weaken token come out? Oh, it looks like it may have come out to these outriders over here. Don't know. Okay, let's get back to the game. Important website stuff going on. No, not really. It's not looking great for the Lannister player. Not looking good for Carlo. I don't quite understand what Carlo was planning to do in this strategy and the way he decided to play this. But yeah, it's going to be difficult. So it looks like... so we saw delay orders come out again from Carlo. And it looks like Shaggy Dog has been chosen to activate again. Note, like, there's a really important thing here, guys. If this was a real game, Shaggy Dog cannot charge this unit in the front. Like, he's not actually allowed. Because he would not fit in that gap. That gap is too small. Because the trays are not actually half an infantry size. And they might meant to be, but they're not. So this overlap here, I mean, he wouldn't fit. That's something I'll talk to Bartender about, maybe. There you go. So they fit in TTS. They fit. So the game is actually different. This is a big thing here because the game is actually different. So 2 hits, 2 attacks there, and 2 hits. One save. So it's going to be a -3 panic check because of Vicious and the corpse pile. Nah, dead. One victory point. And Shaggy Dog gets to do his search forth, so he can go back 5 inches. If he's clever with the objective, he can. Yeah, so you can actually touch the objective again. So again, in real world play, that's not actually even a legal charge, because he wouldn't fit in the gap. I think that's such a big thing to notice, and it makes wolves at the moment really more powerful. Because on TTS that's allowed on TTS, I guess, but yeah. We see the 3rd corpse pile come out. It's going to go there. It's not over. The game's definitely not over. But it's not looking great. It looks over. Yeah, it does. It looks over. I don't think it is over. There's a lot of like nifty little things that can happen between now and then, but it's certainly not going Carlo's way. Carlo's going to be going down 3 points probably per turn at this rate. Where does Carlo go here? He kills this wolf with the Castle Rock. I mean, he needs to do this. It scores a point, 2 points to killing the wolf. So he goes up to 3 points. That gives Ghsusur 3 points on the other side of the board to go up to 6 points. So it goes 6-3. But Carlo has no other way out there. What he needs to do is see these Lannister crossbowmen put in work. Or he needs to do something with the Knights of Castle Rock. It's not looking great, let's put it like that. So don't really know what we're going to see here. It looks like he's going for the Knights of Castle Rock. Yeah, he's going to charge the side of these berserkers. Which, to be honest, I thought he would do last turn, but It looks like it might be a 5-inch charge. Or a 6, at least a 6-inch. No, it's more than a 6, so he's going to need more than a 1. Charging mechanic in the game if this is a 1. Rip. Okay, I don't know. I think he's... Right, there you go. I think his opponent probably said something, so he stopped rolling it. So, I mean, the thing is, Knights of Castle Rock genuinely could wipe this unit, but Hodor's got his ability, whereby you once per game make a disorderly charge, and it rolls 2 less dice, is that right? Because, you know, Bran needs an ability like that in the game. Yeah. So, he's checking out for Branskin, changing to see if Summer is actually in range. He is. He's within 10. It must be 11 anyway, regardless of how he charges. It would be an 11-inch charge, which is a 5+. So, we've got how many is that? Is that like wow? It's only 3 dead, isn't it overall? Yeah, because they passed the panic test. So how does Carlo get back into this? I mean, that was a terrible charge because the disorderly from Hodor just nerfs it to oblivion. So let's okay. I'm sorry, just ordering food for my girlfriend. So the Berserkers decide to YOLO into the front of the crossbowmen. Yeah, makes sense. Let's actually show that dice roll, hey? So that's going to be not great hits. 5, 6 hits. That's survivable, you know, that's survivable. There's a weaken token on them as well, so it's going to be re-rolling on those 6. Ooh, it's pretty good. There's only 3 hits in total. Hey, if they pass the morale check, they're going to be surviving on 1 rank here. Yeah, rip. There's 3 crossbowmen dead. And then the morale check. Are we going to see any... Is he within 6? Yeah, it's within 6. Seven? Aren't they morale 7 base? No, the morale 8. Rip. 2 dead. Stark Bowman and Morale 7, aren't they? Forgot that one. They don't have Sundering though, to be fair, do they? Let's have a look. Okay. Yeah, it's not a great start for Carlo. Not a great end even. It's really difficult because Carlo's obviously still got options. Just about. Yeah, so Varys onto the horses. He can do a retreat with the crossbowman and then shoot. And interestingly, here's the 5. Interestingly, he could do some real damage this turn. Because he still fires at basically full ranks. Yeah, and he could shoot Greywind. What the issue, of course, has got to be. The real issue, though, is, of course, if he messes this up, and more importantly, if he got the North remembers, the Berserkers can reactivate, because, you know, it's a fair and balanced card. Ugh. Reactivation cards, man. In a unit. In something that already has more activations than you. And they're better. I hate this. I hate Starks, man. They're not overpowered, they're just everything they do is good. It's annoying. And it's boring. It's boring to play against them. And so there's also something big to remember here. 2 open slots means probably 2 chances at sudden charge. So you see Sansa being used to get back into hand. Is that going to be sudden charge? Yeah. He's getting sudden charge back into his hand. Let me guess. I'm just going to throw it out there. He's going to activate one of his NCUs and take one of the zones. Sansa's activating. We're going to see a Varys check to see if he can cancel. It's a 1, so he doesn't cancel. So Carlo's failed 1, Ghsusur's failed none. Important thing there. And which means we're going to see... He should have taken crowns and done this rather than the moneybags. We're going to have to see counterblock come out onto sudden charge now. 3+, no reroll. 6, there we go. Rip sudden charge, so you don't get to play the card. And so you can do the heal 3 thing here. That should be fair, you know, gets the counterplot out of the way, it's the better way to do it. So he should heal 3, remove the weakened token from this Berserker's unit if I was him. Carlo needs to shoot Greywind. Personally. To kill Greywind, krill the dog. Krill it. Shift 2 to the side. Shoot doggo. Seven hits. God, they hit like trucks when they hit with 3s. Long range sundering. I think that's what he's telling him. So -1s, 7 dice at -1s. So he's saving on 4s now. Yeah, 4s. What's the chance he fails 2? Probably pretty reasonable. Yep, there's 4 fails. Dead unit. That's going to be important. It's another VP to Carlo. It's another VP that Ghsusur's not getting every turn. And yeah, it's another dead dog. You know, dead dogs are always a good thing for Carlo. So this game really isn't over. People who think this game is over, it's really not. It's certainly not in a good way for Carlo, but it's not over. He's just had to spend a lot of resources to keep himself in the game right now. North remembers. Told you. North remembers comes out, they take their activation token off. That's the problem. That is a problem for Carlo. He can realistically wipe the crossbows here. Yep. And they're in, not disorderly. You should go that side, 50% that side, so you can retreat onto the objective. Come on. It's the obvious play. Yeah, the Stark deck's really good. The Stark deck is oppressively good. Like, obscenely so. It's a lot of 1s and 2s, but it doesn't matter because, you know, he's going to be re-rolling. Still quite a lot of 1s and 2s, so what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits. The crossbows can survive this if they pass the panic check. It's probably going to come down to the panic check. Because its 5s is on 6s. Yep, 5 dead. So panic check at minus what? They're going to be at 9. -1 for the corpse pile. So panic check on 9. That's a 5. The unit's dead. Another VP for Ghsusur. And another Surge Forth. He should have gotten the line the other way and Surge Forth onto this objective, but you know. He's going to touch it anyway, isn't he? Yeah, he is. I dislike the Stark deck immensely. Mainly because the Stark deck... It probably is really over. He's not actually touching the token. He's not touching the token. Oh, Jesus. Hate gamers like this. Where they just, rather than just going and touching the token, then they're going to get every 1/4 of a millimeter of an inch. You know, anything. He could just shift over a little bit. He had the movement to, but he chose not to. Oh well, doesn't matter. Yeah, see what I mean? Like, he could just move to there and claim the token, but he's trying to move to, so he doesn't have to touch it. Just, hate that. If you want to turn so you don't touch it, learn the geometry of your trace so you can turn at the right end. Get it right the first time. Anyway, that's me being an annoying man. Pyro's going to activate and he's going to realign to the front, and he's gonna burn some Outriders. This could go very poorly for Carlo, but it'll be fun. 5 dice, hitting on 3s, and vicious, so he can't kill the unit. But any 1s he rolls also do a wound to himself. Weakened. Gonna spend it. He spends the weakened. So 2s are what Starks want to see here. Okay, so that's 2 wounds, 3 wounds auto, and 1 wound to Carlo. Smash, and then a panic check at -2. Going to be tested on 8. This is Carlo's last activation, importantly. This unit Berserkers and Summer haven't activated yet for Ghsusur. That's a 12. He's passed. Ghsusur is going to go up to 12 points. He's going up to 7 points at the end of this turn. Right. So, I mean, I don't know what he's going to choose to do. Just face it, it doesn't really matter. He should probably just sit the wolf here, score another victory point. These berserkers could do whatever they wanted. Attack, retreat. He's going to retreat, fair enough. Is he going to retreat? Oh no, he's just going to realign. That's a weird way of doing it. I'm going to realign to there and attack, I'm guessing. Eight dice hit on threes, as we know. There is a weaken token, and the Knights of Castle Rock don't bother too much about this. Don't worry too much, but 4 hits. We're going to see the weakened here probably. Just make it less. Yep, weakened being used. 4 hits still. Happens. 4 saves on 4s. 2 dead. And then a pat check at, what, 6? Yeah, 6 for the Castle Rock. Boys. Pass. So the Berserkers now do a -1 panic check as well. -2 panic check, sorry. So that puts on 6s. Panic check on 6s for the Berserkers. Failed. 4 dead. Incredible. Not like it helps that much, because, you know, they hit harder now. Carlo does go first next turn. And Ghusur's got 1 Varus token left. He's going to activate Varus. He's going to go onto the crowns probably and do a panic check on the pyros. Yeah. It's going to be an 8 morale check on the pyros. He doesn't want to fail this really because it just puts him on so little dice. There's also a panic on them. So he's passed the check initially. There is a 33% chance if he makes him just re-roll the 5. There is a... Yeah, so there you go. So there's going to be 4 dead. So as expected, that's going to be really bad. And Arya does nothing. And Summer does nothing. He scores 3 points. 7-2. Carlo... I don't think Carlo can win. It requires some really weird things to happen for Carlo to win this. I really want to see Walder come out onto Crowns and do a Crown Zap onto one Wolf and kill Summer with the effect. That would be incredible. Might make the game a bit easier for Carlo to try and win. So it's turn 4. First player should go to Carlo. I've been gifted some Jaffa cakes. Yeah. So, first thing of the turn, what would you do? Obviously, Arya being used. You see Walder being activated. Varus counter. Yep, Varus counter gets used. Does it roll? If he gets this roll, it will be 4 out of 4. If he fails it, it will be 3 out of 4. Jaffa cakes are great. Evening Dan as well. Catching the end of the stream. So we've yet to see him actually roll the Varus token. I don't know why he's taking so long. There's no cards he can play that affect this. I guess he's just deciding if he wants to stop the zone or the ability, I'm guessing. Yep, so he passed all 4 Varus tokens. All 4 Varus tokens were passed. He should definitely, he should definitely take swords. If he takes swords, he can attack with the Knights of Castle Rock into the Berserkers. That's going to be his best hope of trying to not lose. Even then, it's going to be difficult. Hello. I have no idea what that means because I don't speak Pork Dio mi piace el cas. I have no idea what that means. Is that Spanish or French? Let me just do a quick check. Portuguese? Spanish. Hang on. So 3 hits in total. With the panic save is going to be the important thing here. It's at quite sort of 4, isn't it? To be honest, he needs him to fail this panic check. If he doesn't fail this panic check, I don't see how Carlo comes back into the game at all. No Northern Ferocity. Direwolves further even. Yeah, Direwolves further mean that it's pretty much an auto pass. Yep, auto pass. There are things Carlo can do to stop it being the last turn of the game and get another turn out in the hopes to get more points to bring it back closer. But it requires some absolute god rolling. I do mean that. Absolute god rolling in his favour. So it's Ghususur's action. He's going to activate the Berserkers, and they're going to get Sundering, which we already have, and Vicious, by the looks of it, onto the Berserkers. And they roll, what, 20 million dice at round rank? No, 10 dice on one rank. It is actually, yeah, I mean, yes. Right now, George, that's basically all Carlo can try and do. I mean, in theory, you could win, but it's unlikely. The chance of winning is unlikely. Yeah, so this is an odd one. I mean, Carlo's not played this game well. I don't think he's opened himself up to a lot of things. But this style of Stark list is just the opposite of fun to play against. It's just stupid. You've got 3 units there, all costing 6 or 7 points apiece, and or more than that with attachments, and you're running 4 of those units, and you have 10 activations. It's just complete stupidity. And you take Varys, who counters the one thing that counters your list. Like, it's just, like, it's so brainless that Ghsusur's 2 lists are literally they're identical, and I just hate that. I hate that you can take 2 lists to a tournament like this and become second, and 2 lists that are identical and come second, and it's not through skill. It's not. I'm surprised he didn't go with the Sparrow list, although he's probably afraid of being auto-deleted, and he didn't have Walder in that list. He didn't have Walder in that list, so he couldn't deal with the wolves. He would have had Rely on the mountain. But I agree, I think his other list would have been better, personally. I'm not 100% sure why he picked his Tyrion list. Arya takes the money bags, he heals up the Berserkers. That's actually game over. I shouldn't be calling it, but it is now game over. Carlo needed to take -1 panic check on a crown and kill off something like Shaggy Dog to stay in the game. I don't think it's possible for for Ghsusur not to hit 10 now. In which case, there is an option. No, there isn't, not really. He's going to do it. He's going to attack with the Pyromancers, 3 dice. Hitting on 3s, any 1s will kill him immediately. No 3s. 6 hits. 3 hits, sorry. No crit blow. 3 hits. You can't die from this attack anyway. But he's down to 1 rank, so he'll hit back a lot less hard. But it'll probably kill a Pyromancer, let's face it. 6, that's a fail. Becomes 4 more wounds. Fealty to the crown. Oh, huge. 4 wounds get no, 1 model actually. Because only 1 model was removed. Sadness. Absolute sadness. Yeah, the difference is the dogs, 100%. This matchup, like the old Stark versus Lannister Classic. I mean, I disagree that this is the best list to play against the Starks like this, but this is meant to be the counter. And Carlo, as I said, Carlo didn't play this well. Like, I don't think he played this well. But yeah. Swift retreat. Yeah, so attack with melee, they made a free retreat action, so they're just going to go to there. And he's going to pivot, I guess. That's interesting. That lone Outrider's probably not going to be able to do much. But I mean, there's nothing Carlo can do to kill him, so. It's Ghususur's turn. He'd be stupid if he charges the rear of the Castle Rock Knights, because then he could kill himself on the Panic Chest. So yeah, he's just going to run in and charge the Pyros. Yeah. He's got a weaken token on them, so I mean, there's a chance he doesn't kill them here. Especially if he rolls a disorderly charge. But Ghususur's got 2 cards in hand, so It's not just not making dogs being able to score objectives, but changing the way that dogs are brought to the game. What? So you activated Varys to do that? Okay. I'm so confused. Oh, it's like he retreated and then he chose not to retreat as far as he did? I genuinely don't know what Ghasusur's doing here. What's he... Why? Yeah, he would be. Would be 4 points less. I don't know why Ghasusur's done that, because he's going to flank charge the Pyros, but he's probably going to kill them anyway. Cunning ploy. Oh wow, so he's activating the Knights of Castle Rock and he's going to attack with the Pyros at range? Or is he going to charge? Incredible. If you just charged the Pyros and killed them, that would have been way better. I don't understand what he was trying to do here. There we go, Pyros are charging in. That's huge. This is probably going to be 3 wounds to the Stark Outriders, which kills them. Giving Carlo another point. Right. This is a point he did not need to give away. Well, 2 misses, but he gets to reroll them. Because the charge. He's got 2 wounds and 1 wound to himself, so he kills the Starks, but also kills himself as well. Yeah, TTS makes a difference. I'd say it again, Wolves are solo units that do not equal half an infantry base. I've literally measured it in real life with units I've got in my box. Half an infantry base is not a solo, and yet they constantly get used as half infantry bases when you play TTS. So you get situations if you're at the flank, and you take up someone's flank, and then something charges something in the front, it would have to align 50% the other side, and then someone charges another solo in the gap because it fits. And actually, strictly speaking, it should not be able to fit. It's not actually possible. You couldn't do it in a real game, but TTS you can, unfortunately. And it makes wolves a little bit stronger because you can get 2 wolves and something in the flank really easily. You couldn't do that you literally couldn't do that in real life. And it's going to be end of the game. 10-3. So absolute crushing victory for Ghsusur. I'm going to see if they want to do interviews. see what they say. So we'll wait to see. We'll wait to see for them to discuss things. I'm guessing before we can jump over and have a little chat with them if they want it. Yeah, I hate Starks playing nice. Yeah, see you later, George. By the way, I missed that. Because Starks are a good faction. I just think it's a shame that Starks at the moment get ruined by the fact that you pick a list full of Alpha Strike units that are decent points cost value for themselves, and yeah. Right, so we'll just wait for them to get ready. My food will be here soon as well. That was well timed, wasn't it? The old classic Lannister versus Stark comes to another Stark victory. Yes, selling mine. Paying the iron price. It's the way to do it. Right, guys. So we'll assume that they're ready for interviews in a minute. If anyone wants to hang around, feel do. But if you want to, guys, head away. Obviously, you can do. Remember, we've got the merch below. We've got the oh, there we go. So they're ready now. So I'll just quickly unmute and we'll go.
Future, more for the future. I wouldn't
of
open with that statement.
Okay,
Right.
okay, I'm sorry, because it's like I felt like it's still a tournament, but
Yeah.
you know,
No.
and we're in a very, very high place. Like I'm think I'm going to end third, like second,
Yeah.
but third because of the way the tournament works. So I'm sorry if I let you down, and this was like
No.
important.
Are we all good?
And
we all good? Yeah.
yes, we're
Cool.
good.
First things
How are you?
first. Yeah, I'm good. Thanks a lot. Well done, obviously, Ghsusur. I think that puts you second in the tournament.
My name is Ido. My name is Ido. You can call me Ido.
Do. Okay, we do. Well done. I think you come second for that victory. And it pretty emphatic as well. 10-3 is a pretty nice scoreline to go by. Yeah, did you feel confident coming in, or what were you thinking before the game?
You know, you can never be like too comfortable. I played against Irius, the one that won the tournament, like in the third game, and like in the beginning of the tournament, like I'm quite new to the game, and in the beginning of the tournament, I thought that, oh wow, Free Wolves is so amazing, it's so strong, no other factions can beat it. And then Erie is just like, you know, he won. So yeah, the ego is hurts more than everything. And so I came to play. I didn't know what to expect. I chose like Rob list before even you know, like I didn't think about what list Z4CARLO will choose. Because I need my commander on the field. And yeah, 10 and 7 activation is like a very big gap.
It is, yeah. All right then, Carlo, over to you, I guess, for a question or two. Why did you pick your Tyrion list and not your Sparrow list? Firstly.
So I think that both lists are going to lose. They're both at a disadvantage. His list is significantly stronger than mine, and I don't have the precise tools to beat it. Outside of Walder, who is pretty much my only real option. But he has Varys, so that's got a huge element of luck in it. For me, I could take the High Sparrow list, and I will, in my opinion, lose the game about 90% of the time by a small margin. Or I can take Tyrion, and I can win the game slightly more often, but when I lose, I will lose big because I'm reliant on a very particular set of tactics cards. And really, in general, for me to win this game, I have to, in my opinion, I have to hope that my opponent makes mistakes. And the Tyrion list allows more space for him to make mistakes. But he played incredibly well. He made almost no mistakes, or I was not able to capitalize on any mistakes, which I saw. So that's what Tyrion does. He capitalizes on mistakes and forces pressure. And I thought that was my best chance. My best chance was to hope that he would play badly, and he didn't play badly. Because, in my opinion, if he plays well, neither of my lists will beat his list. I have zero chance if he plays correctly.
Okay, fair enough. Somewhat of a simple way to put it. In that, I came in with no chance, and he played well enough so that stayed no chance. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, I still believe. I always say, most games are still, even at the highest level, like mistakes happen. You have to hope. You do have to assume that a certain amount of mistakes will happen in the game. I make them myself, and Tyrion just allows more space to capitalize upon the mistake because I have to, in my opinion, have him make a mistake. Otherwise, I'm going to steadily lose the game.
Fair enough. Okay. Was there anything you wanted to add at all, or are we done with that? Because I'm pretty sure there's not much else to talk about with that game. It was fairly straightforward.
No, yeah, I thought my opponent played incredibly well. And players who are running the three wolves can play them in a way that they understand the list, they understand their advantages, they understand their activation control, or they can play it where they think that they just are the best list out there and that they're going to win. No matter what they do. And that's when the lists come apart. I've played an almost identical list earlier in this tournament and managed to beat it with a crushing win because my opponent made significant mistakes. And here Edo played significantly better. He understands the list, he plays it well, and he understands his tactics cards, understands the flow of the game, and is very aware of what Tyrion's threats are and plays around them all. So it was all really, really, really good play. So, I think that I was beaten by a better opponent, not just by a list. It was played very perfectly, to be honest.
Thank you. And I think in the last game that I lost to Irius, I played very like you say, I played very aggressively. I chose to start at round 2. Did some crazy stuff, and when the dice is not in your favor, you lose hard. And now I played much more, calm. Second round was almost no things to do until it was out of activations, and I had a bit of luck, just a bit, maybe.
Fair enough. All right then, guys, we'll leave it there. Thanks a lot for letting the stream, and thanks a lot for doing the interviews. Right then, I'll mute myself and yeah. Right then, guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. This was Lannister Carlo versus Stark Ghsusur, and Ghsusur wins it 10-3. Thanks a lot for coming down. Obviously, give us a subscribe if you can, or give us a follow. If you're watching this on YouTube, check out our merch. Give us a subscribe on YouTube. Check out all the merch. We've got loads of different tops out there now, and designs and t-shirts for you guys. And if get down to tournaments and things like that, because I'm sure they'll be thrown in as prizes as well in the future. So thanks a lot, guys, for spending this time with me. It's been an interesting one, and I will catch you next time.